Here we go again on another adventure. Next step to turn my NASCAR truck into a street legal machine, I've got to do seats, get this motor finished up, and get the roll cage going. Alright, the first step is picking out a seat. I'm in a full containment seat right now, and this isn't going to be very fun to drive on the road. There's not much padding. This head restraint is way too big, so this one's out of the option. This is like a rock crawler kind of hybrid seat. This one would be good, but there's still not enough support. So like we do, I'm just gonna build it completely from scratch, and this is what I've got. Now this one is gonna be crash tested as for our pumpkin. So we're gonna be dropping this thing, throwing it on the ground, making sure our seat works. The first steps is measure myself for the seats that we're going to build. So just like a tailored suits, you basically just get your hip measurements from your torso up to your shoulders for your belts, and make sure everything is contained, and then you make it a little bit bigger for the foam that needs to go in so that we can have a nice ride. Okay, now that we have our measurements for myself and kind of the general people that will ride in the vehicle, we're going to draw the entire seat in the computer and do a 3D model of it so we know exactly what we want, so that we hopefully only do this once. So as you can see, we're going to start with the can of the seat, and then once we get the can done, we'll put the bottom in and create that, and then we'll put the head on. So that's going to be the start to our seat. And we have a complete 3D model of it, and those measurements work for me. So now that we have our 3D model completely done, I just put it on a jump drive, go take it out to the laser. Let's go cut this thing. So this laser is actually pretty cool. It moves the material back and forth on one of the axes, then the other axis, the head actually moves back and forth. And we're cutting all of this out of aluminum, which the grade of it is 5052, so it's a pretty strong material. So we've got our seats cut. This is our base that we sit in. Here's the head that goes on there. And then we have our bottom. I'm going to bend these up and see if this fits me. So this is kind of fun. Instead of a traditional handbrake, I'm using a CNC press brake to bend all of this metal. And right here, I'm just throwing some dimple dies in to make the aluminum a little stronger. Well, this step is really what determines what a good seat and a bad seat turns out like. I gotta weld this together, so let's see how my welding skills are. Alright, so all of this is TIG welded. I've been TIG welding for probably 5 years consistently, and really like doing the aluminum work. And the biggest thing is being able to weld a long distance in one shot and not having to stop all of the time. So I do have some experience with welding seats, so this isn't my first time, but it is still kind of tricky. Alright, well, I got her all welded up and it didn't seem to turn out too bad. You can kind of see all the way around. And then on the bottom side, weld everything 100% inside and out. Back. So now that it's all welded up, I'm going to have to put some gusseting to make this thing strong, because right now, if you got into a bad wreck, it might cave in on itself. So let's put some gusseting on this. So I'm actually just using 1-inch flat bar to create all of my gussets on the seats. It's pretty easy to find and it's relatively cheap, so I'm able to work with it fast and just get it done. You have it. I've got all my gusseting done from my spine all the way down to my shoulders to my rib cage. That goes all the way around, all the way down to my hips. And I even got the bottom. So now that I got all of that tacked on, now the fun part, get to weld this 100% all the way up. So we'll see how we do.
So, like I was saying, this stuff can be kind of tricky. You just got to learn how to hand position so that you're not burning your hands, and you can feed that filler rod in the entire distance so that you're not stopping and starting all the time. So that's where just a little bit of practice comes in.
There you have it. I have welded the entire seat completely up. Everywhere on the gussets had to be 100% welded. So there's 24 feet of welding in this. So here's how it turned out. I've welded the entire seam of all of these gussets and all of the little seams in there. And this thing took a lot of filler rod to get it 100% welded up. But I think it turned out pretty good. All right, since I'm gonna be driving this thing on the street, I made the seat a couple inches bigger and a couple inches deeper than I normally do. And I'm gonna be using some leftover foam from a different project. And I've got 4 inches for the butt cushion, and my ribs and back and everywhere is gonna have 2 inches. So I've got my foam. I'm actually gonna be wrapping it in this kind of cool fabric that's kind of a flannel material, but let's get going on the inside of the seat and get it all wrapped up.
So if you've ever watched any of those Facebook or YouTube videos late at night that are just satisfying, it's kind of what I thought when I was wrapping this stuff, because it's a pretty quick process, and when you're actually going through just laying all of the foam out and cutting it, it's just satisfying from the beginning to the end, especially like cutting it on the bandsaw. I didn't know if this would work or not, but it actually worked really good. So if you ever cut foam, try it.
I'm just using headliner adhesive. So we'll see how this stuff works. Oh wow, that's cool. I've never actually done a headliner or anything, so we'll see how this works.
I forgot to take a picture of the seat completed, so here's kind of a screenshot.
So as per usual, we have to crash test our products we make. Unfortunately, Frank, our pumpkin, is gonna take the hit on this. So we're gonna manipulate a car being flipped over and then a 40-mile-an-hour stop to dead stop. We're gonna see if Frank's pumpkin guts will hold up to these wrecks. All right, so our first test is the car flipping. The only way I can really think about doing this is basically just wrap this around it, so that when it takes off, it's gonna just grab this and flip it out and spin the seat a whole bunch of times. Very scientific, but let's see what happens. Obviously, Frank is not hurt, so our flip test will work. First test pass. All right, the next test for Frank is the longest skid ever. We're gonna drag him down the highway for 51 miles. So let's go get this thing drugged. Well, we had time to go get some coffee and we made our 51 miles, so let's see how my seat held up. We have a big problem. This did not hold up to 51 miles going down the interstate. Look at how bad it is right there. That is crazy. Well, we know you can't drag a seat and skid for 51 miles, so good thing we built 2. Let's do the next test. All right, now that we've ruined 1 seat, let's go ahead, take the second one, and do our 40-mile-an-hour crash test to a dead stop. Basically, I'm gonna go as high up as the forklift will go in this OSHA-approved safety basket and drop Frank and see how his guts do. All right, sorry, Frank, but 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, Frank completely just destroyed. His guts are gone. That did not work. All right, as you can see, Frank did not survive, but let's check out what the seat did. Honestly, there's no visual damage. The seat is completely fine, so I'm gonna say this is a pass. I'm gonna put this in the car and use it. Okay, our seats are completely done, and now our crash testing is done as well. We're gonna do some more safety work and get some tubing bent up so that we can get our cage put together.
So this is kind of another area that I have done for a little bit. I've built quite a few cages and kind of know the step-by-step process now.
Notch and tube that's already in a chassis, you can just get one of these cheap Harbor Freight tubing notchers with the hole saw, and they're definitely cheap, but you can just clamp them right to a tube and notch them right in the car. All right, we got a really big problem. This chassis is pretty straight, but a couple bars are a little tweaked, so check out what we got going on. To line up, we have rigged a setup with the forklifts to this board to push the chassis tube out so it lines up with my dash bars. It's kind of another view of what we got going on. So we have the forklift with the forks going in through the cab to the ratchet straps. It's just not a good situation, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get it done.
So just kind of like anything, I always start at the basics and just bend the tube up and throw a couple tacks on each joint. If you don't throw at least 2 or 3 tacks on, it usually falls apart when you go and move it around.
All right, the entire cage is bent, notched, everything's tacked into place. I'm gonna pull the cab off and get this thing completely welded up so we can move on.
So I decided just to MIG weld this one. I know that like Penske used to TIG weld their cages, but I'm just doing this to get it done right now, and it's honestly just matches the chassis, what's already been done.
So now that we have the cage completely welded up, I got the cab back on. We have just about all the tube work completely done, but I have to do the door bars, but I can do that with the cab on. So let's get on to the next step. All right, let's put a motor together. I've got a small black Chevy, standard 350 4-bolt main, bored 40 over with fancy new pistons. What do you think, puppy? It's the good 010 block, so we should be able to take a little bit of power, but nothing too crazy. So let's get this thing put together.
So this is where I don't have a ton of experience. I put together a couple motors, but it's probably been 10 years. So I went through a different shop to get all the machine work done, and I asked them to set up the bearings, the piston rings, and everything. And what I should have done is mic'd everything, or measured it so that I knew all of the clearances were correct, and this is where I think I got some stuff screwed up.
Now I have the motor partway assembled. I ran into a lot of issues that I really wasn't expecting, but I'm not a motor builder. First off, I broke the bolt that goes through the harmonic balancer into the crank, so that kind of stopped me from going really any farther. I did get the bolt out, or the broken bolt, and then I do have some clearance issues with the bearings on the rods, so I'm going to take a look at those and try and get this fixed before I go any farther. So we have our seats done, and we started on the motor, but we have some issues, so next time you see us, we'll do that. We got the cage done, and now I've got to put together my drive line. So I've got the rear gears set up, my transmission, and we're going to start putting that in so we can get a power plant in and get our exhaust and all of that stuff done for the next time you see us. So thanks for watching, and till next time.